11 Alive News at 6 p.m. starts now.
And we are coming on this Saturday evening with breaking news out of Newton County. Within the last hour, we have learned that at least 5 people are dead after a head-on crash on State Route 142 at the intersection with Adams Circle. This is in Covington, and we know that 5 people killed were all in the same vehicle. The driver of the other vehicle was rushed to Piedmont Newton Hospital in critical condition. 11 Alive has a crew on the scene. We hope to have more tonight at 11 o'clock. This has been a dreary, wet, tough day to be outside. We have had a lot of rainfall across metro Atlanta and North Georgia, causing all kinds of puddles to form along roadways and slow down the Easter weekend traffic. And what has also made it vexing, it's been cold. It has felt like winter. And now, taking a live look at Truist Park, Braves set to play the second game of the weekend series against the Padres tonight, a little less than an hour and a half from right now. And we have seen the tarp on the field for much of the afternoon. That makes perfect sense. And meteorologist Nicole Hartford always makes perfect sense as well. This has been a tough day.
It really has. It's just been kind of gross overall. I know a lot of people's plans, especially when it comes to Easter egg hunts, were probably ruined. And we've picked up a lot of rainfall. Our rain totals through metro Atlanta range from about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, which is what we can handle. But some of our bigger swaths up into portions of Bartow as well as Floyd County, we see anywhere from 2 inches up to 4 inches of rain accumulation, which did create some flooding issues out there. And we do have a flash flood warning that remains in effect there until 8 o'clock this evening. The good news is, as I'm sure you can see on our radar, is rain is coming to an end. We're starting to clear it out from west to east. Once the rain is out of your area, it's done with. There's no more moving in, which is very good news for the Braves game in just an hour and a half. And that rainfall will continue to push off towards the east. So it's going to stay cool. It's going to stay dreary, but at least we're getting that rainfall out of the way as we move into the overnight hours. Temperatures right now are mainly in the 40s, but when you factor in that breeze, it actually feels like 30. So we're at 45 in Atlanta, feels like 37. Our conditions right now are already starting to improve. I was watching our roam cam and actually saw a couple rays of sun peeking out through those clouds. Conditions much more improved for tomorrow. I'll break it all down coming up.
Well, the rain made it a tough day at Augusta National for the Masters, for patrons and the players. Play was suspended yesterday due to the weather and that tree falling at the 17 tee box. The golfers able to wrap up the second round, but a couple of hours ago, around 3 o'clock, about 3:12 to be exact, tournament officials had to suspend the rest of the third round for the remainder of the day. We'll have more from Augusta National coming up a little bit later in the sports segment, which is probably about 14 minutes away. Continue to stay weather aware this Easter weekend. You can do so by having the 11 Alive News app. You can download it now by scanning the QR code you see there, and then don't forget to turn on the alerts to get the very latest weather updates from wherever you may live. Now to a developing story we first broke for you this morning on 11 Alive. Atlanta police found itself involved in a combative truck driver situation, which escalated to shots being fired by an officer. All of it unfolding early this morning along North Avenue Northwest near Maddox Park. 11 Alive's Erica Murphy has the very latest news.
Saturday's scene began just before 4 a.m. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says that an Atlanta police officer came upon a Ford F-250 pickup truck which had crashed into the guard shack of the Atlanta Public Works Station. The suspect, identified as 39-year-old Jamario Duffy of Stone Mountain, allegedly tried to drive away. But Major Peter Malecki with the Atlanta Police Department describes what happened to the officer as he approached that truck.
He attempted to make contact with the driver of that vehicle to initiate an investigation on that motor vehicle collision. The male driver of that vehicle became immediately irate, exited the vehicle, and began assaulting the police officer.
GBI says Duffy hit the officer in the face and head, and at some point during the attack, the officer drew his firearm and shot Duffy.
So we know he sustained 2 gunshot injuries, and right now he is in surgery undergoing treatment.
Atlanta police has referred to the injuries to the officer as, quote, superficial. Neither the GBI or APD has given an identity to the officer that was involved in Saturday's incident. We're told from GBI that Duffy's condition has stabilized. It's still unclear why he crashed at the Atlanta Public Works site. This is the 28th shooting involving law enforcement that the GBI has been called upon to investigate in 2023. Reporting from Atlanta, Erica Murphy, 11 Alive News.
And we are also learning new details about the shooting of a teen by a member of the South Fulton Police Department. It happened along Burdett Road just before 7 o'clock last night. The GBI tells us that officers came upon a 17-year-old male and alleged that he held a gun under his shirt. However, he was commanded to drop the gun. He refused. The teen was shot once by one of the South Fulton officers. He was taken to Grady Hospital, where at last check, now in critical condition. No officers were injured in the midst of this. An update to a story we first broke for you last night at 11 o'clock. This was heavy police presence at Kennesaw State University and their Marietta campus. Just after 10 last night, a shelter-in-place order was put into effect to show an emergency situation. The all clear was given less than an hour later. A couple of hours ago, Cobb County Police told us that this was tied to a traffic stop where a suspect ran away, but they were able to make an arrest. Happening today, plenty of events tied to the Easter weekend despite the bad weather, even if it required many to bundle up and dodge some of the rain. Today, members of the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church teamed up with the King's Table Food Pantry for a pop-up outreach event. They came together along Turner Hill Road in Stonecrest to hand out 1,000 free food boxes. It was just part of New Birth's overall mission for this weekend, as church members were also out performing random acts of kindness across the Stonecrest area. They were handing out gift cards, bottled water, and other gifts. Along with this being Easter weekend, we are in the middle of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Today, the nonprofit Islamic Relief USA set up at Legacy Park for a food giveaway of their own. Organizers were handing out food boxes to some of the more vulnerable in Decatur, and it included rice, dates, cooking oil, flour, and pasta. Islamic Relief USA partnered with organizers from the Refugee Women's Network to lend a helping hand. Happening tomorrow, the return of an Easter tradition. A big crowd expected again for the Sunday service on top of Stone Mountain. It wouldn't be Easter around here without it. This tradition was first marked in 1944 when a group of young people climbed the top of the mountain to watch the sunrise. Since then, it has become a staple of the Easter weekend in Metro Atlanta. Last year, the service returned after being put on hiatus for 2 years during the pandemic. Park gates are open at 3 a.m. and the Summit Skyride will start operating an hour later. The service begins at 7, and there will be sign language interpreters for hearing impaired guests as well. We have more news coming your way. Mugshots of former President Trump are popping up after his arraignment earlier this week. We come back with our Verify team, and they will tell you why you should take a closer look. Former President Trump and his advisors now plotting their next steps in the legal and political battle that he is facing in New York City. The former president arraigned on Tuesday on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. So with everything that we have learned, there also has been a lot of misinformation being tossed around online as well. Abby Larico from our Verify team reports that seeing is not always believing.
Before Tuesday, we had never seen a former president of the United States sitting in the defendant's chair in a criminal court of law. And despite some viral photos, we still haven't seen an authentic presidential mugshot. We looked at these sources and then some of the most widely shared images online to verify they're fake. According to a post on DePaul University's website, the purpose of a mugshot is to allow law enforcement to have a photographic record of all arrested individuals and to allow for identification by victims and investigators. Leading up to Donald Trump's surrender in Manhattan Tuesday, there was wide speculation as to whether his arraignment would come with a mugshot. But the New York Times and others reported Trump likely wouldn't get his photo taken because photos of him are so widely available. And Trump's attorney also told reporters Tuesday he would not have a mugshot taken. This apparent Trump mugshot that went viral on Twitter was actually created using artificial intelligence. Verify could not confirm which program was used, but in searching the program Midjourney, Verify found several examples of fake images being created to falsely show Trump arrested or on trial. There are some subtle clues when you look at the picture that confirm the AI mugshot was digitally created. The background behind Trump doesn't match what other mugshots typically look like in New York City. Mugshots are typically taken at a police station. And Trump never went to a police station on April 4th. He went straight to the courthouse. And in the AI-generated image, Trump is wearing a black T-shirt. In photos taken of Trump in the Manhattan criminal court by the Associated Press, Trump is wearing a blue suit jacket over a white shirt and red tie. Now, then there's the T-shirt that really is for sale right now on the Trump campaign's own website, also using a doctored mugshot. But that one might be a little more obvious at first glance because the photo used in that design has been widely used for other Trump merchandise. This Amazon poster for sale features the same photo, also falsely claiming to show a mugshot. That photo was lifted from this portrait of then-President Trump on his final day in office. So will we see a real Trump mugshot? There's no evidence he actually had one taken. And furthermore, New York state law does not require police or courts to release mugshots of people involved in criminal prosecution. So if a mugshot of Donald Trump did exist, it likely would not be released to the public. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
It has been a cold and rainy day, and while the cold air is likely here to stay, the rain is on its way out. We've been under the influence of a strong wedge pattern. That's when high pressure sets up to our northeast and pushes all the colder air from higher elevations in the Carolinas down across North Georgia, which is why our temperatures today, right now, are actually colder than where they were around midnight. With that, we also brought in the scattered, really widespread rainfall throughout the day. That is moving eastward, though. We do still have some pockets of some heavier rain right now up to the northeast, up 85, but most of this is light and is now moving out of the city. We will continue this pattern through the next couple hours, and it really won't take long for us to completely clear of the rain, which is very good news for the Braves game that starts in just about an hour. While we are not anticipating any reformation of any of the rainfall, it's probably still pretty wet out there when it comes to the field as well as your seats. The tarp, though, I just saw is off the field, so it looks like everything is going as scheduled. Our forecast track continues to push that rain off towards the east, and by the time you're waking up tomorrow morning, we're completely dry. We will start the day with some cloud cover in many locations, so it's still going to be kind of a gray start to the day, but we'll clear out during the afternoon hours especially, and I think in many locations we'll be able to enjoy some sunshine, especially for the second half of the day. We may have a hard time clearing some of that cloud cover, though, down towards the south of I-20. So your Easter Sunday forecast looks pretty good. It is going to be chilly. Overnight low temperatures really don't fall that much from where we currently are. So it will be a couple degrees colder, but not a huge difference. We'll wake up in the upper 30s as well as the low 40s and then manage to warm up more tomorrow. It's still going to be well below average, still a little bit of a chill in the air, but the high temperatures in the 60s are a big improvement from our current temperatures in the 40s. So we'll get up to right around 63 degrees in Atlanta. That is about 10 degrees below average. This is going to kick off a much nicer weather pattern that will linger into the start of this upcoming week as well. High temperatures will continue to climb, so we'll get up into those mid 60s by Monday, and then some 70s as we move towards Tuesday as well as Wednesday and Thursday. A lot more warmth in the forecast puts us closer to where we should be for this time of year. We could see some patchy fog still through the next couple hours, but I also don't think that's going to be much of a problem as we get into your Sunday morning forecast. Here's your 7-day outlook, and each day just gets better and better. In fact, on our Wizometer, we're giving Tuesday as well as Wednesday 10s, and those could, I think you could make an argument for a perfect 11 on the Wizometer for either Tuesday or Wednesday. Our temperatures are going to stay on the warm side as we move towards the end of the week. We'll soak up the sunshine and not a chance for rain in sight until at least Friday. It does look like the timing of this could make for another kind of weekend start to the rainfall with those scattered showers moving in on Friday, but rain chances are going to be lower as we head into Saturday.
All right, coming up in sports, it is the season that never ends, of course. If it's not the games, it's recruiting. If it's not recruiting, it's spring football. We got you covered with Kirby Smart next. Hopefully the weather clears tomorrow at Augusta National. It's supposed to be nicer. That's the good news. We'll see who takes on the green jacket. It's a two-man race right now. Maybe that'll change. But Brooks Koepka has a 4-shot lead right now over Jon Rahm, and they've got about 30 holes left to play. We'll see what goes. Braves and Padres scheduled to play about an hour from now at Truist. A special treat tonight. We'll see the debut of the City Connect jerseys. Braves trying to start a new win streak after last night's 5-4 loss to the Padres. Big challenge tonight for Atlanta United. The Five Stripes have tied their best start ever. They have 4 wins and a draw in their first 6 matches, but they have never won a regular season game in Yankee Stadium, where they will play tonight against New York City FC. It is the smallest pitch in all of Major League Soccer.
We go in, trying to play our best in our style. It's obviously a tough environment based on a lot of different circumstances. But, I think if we, stick to our game plan, I think we'll get a positive result.
The house that Ruth built. Hawks are locked into the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. They'll travel to Miami on Tuesday night for a play-in game against the Heat. The Hawks still have 1 regular season game left tomorrow in Boston. You'll probably see most of the starters sit or playing limited minutes.
The postseason is where your focus is. The Boston game, is the way to prepare for the postseason. I think we're a group that wants to continue to play the right way, and we need to make sure we do what we need to do as far as some guys being rested.
All right, UGA's annual spring football game, G-Day, next Saturday. A few weeks into spring practice, Kirby Smart says there are 2 segments to his team. 50% are within their first year in Athens, while the other 50% have been there 2 years or more.
Our job is to try to accelerate the learning process for the first younger group and continue the learning process and continue to push to create depth out of our older half. I'm pleased with the work we've done this spring. I'm not pleased with where we are. We need to continue to grow and get better.
Dogs are practicing indoors today, but that will not be the case next Saturday when they're in Sanford Stadium for G-Day. Hopefully it will not rain. All right, we're back after this.
Ahead for us, we'll explain what the new court rulings over the abortion drug mean. Plus, how fast is too fast on the road? There's growing controversy over efforts to increase speed limits in some states. Those stories and more on Nightly News.
Our conditions are improving. In fact, this is our current view in Rome. I'm sure many of you in Atlanta and east of the city may not believe that we're starting to see those blue skies after such a terrible day, but conditions are improving and tomorrow looks a lot better. There will still be some cloud cover that sticks around tonight, but the rainfall is on its way out. We'll return to a lot more sunshine, especially by tomorrow afternoon. So your Sunday planner looks, I would say, a million times better than what we felt today. 7-day outlook also includes some very good weather. Despite the return of sunshine, it is still going to be chilly tomorrow. We'll wake up to overnight lows in the upper 30s and the low 40s. We'll only get into the low 60s, but it's back to the 70s by the middle of the week. And our next chance for rain doesn't come until Friday.
I like that. That sounds good. I think we're all happy about that.
I think so.
We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock right here on 11 Alive. Have a good evening.